This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, it's time for another random Godzilla movie as we review 2004's Godzilla Final Wars. Plus, details on Marvel's creative retooling. Has Henry Cavill joined the MCU? The next Jurassic World movie finds its director. The Dune 2 director hates dialogue, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, February 26th, 2024.
Hey, this is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. Welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast. Remember, Batman's got your back.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We talk it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We talk it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, what's up, listener? Hello, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And joining us, it's a fella. He puts the cum in Kumanga. It's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
Well, you know, he shoots out a lot of yellow goo, and so do I. So
Yes,
we
he
have that in
does.
common.
That is an obscure kaiju
I make
pun,
my
everyone.
own. Yes, I make my own brand of spider webs. If you know what I'm saying.
Horrifying. He's creepy and he has yellow webs. Yes.
You remember in Spider-Man 1 where he's in his room all alone making webs?
And he's just shooting jizz
Yeah.
webs all over the place.
Yeah, that was modeled after my life.
I see. It's accurate. Anyways, I thought he'd appreciate the obscure kaiju pun.
Yeah, if you don't know, Kumanga is a kaiju that looks like a giant spider or something.
Look it up.
Yeah, it's frightening. And we're going to talk about Kumanga later because he's frightening. He's in the movie we're reviewing. But before that, got a couple of things to discuss. Let's get it started.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
I'd like to discuss this Hollywood Reporter article, fellas. Came out. It's got some interesting tidbits. I've got some bullet points. The title is How Marvel is Quietly Retooling Amid Superhero Fatigue. It's a pretty good piece, and there's a couple of interesting things to discuss. Starting with, you probably saw this being all these headlines when the Deadpool trailer came out during the Super Bowl. It was the most watched trailer of all time. The number was 365 million views in 24 hours.
Oh, shit.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
They did. It's true. That is true. But they did count the 20-second teaser that it ran during the
Yes,
Super Bowl as part of that.
So, yes, Disney's fudging the numbers and counting the 123 million people, which was the highest for a Super Bowl game ever. Remember, we were talking about what the views were?
Yeah.
That was like the most watched thing ever. 123 million people. So they counted in 365. Whatever. It does beat out like Avengers Infinity and Endgame and No Way Home, right?
Yep.
All those movies did what? They made like $2 billion. I think this movie makes $2 billion. I'm calling it right now. Deadpool, Wolverine.
$2 billion?
I think it has the potential to make $2 billion.
Whoa.
Rugs, what do you think?
That's a
Am I
hell of a
overshooting?
take.
Am I overshooting?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Yes, of course. But I don't think you're that far off. I think it's more like 1.5. But
Okay.
You're not insane for thinking that. I think people like Deadpool, especially the young kiddos.
You said $2 billion?
Well, I'm just saying, if it beat out the views for those other movies that made $2 billion, then equal ipso facto.
There's only
make $2 billion.
there's only one Marvel film that's made $2 billion.
No Way Home and
I'm looking at it right now. No Way Home is 1.9.
Oh, almost. Okay, close.
Endgame is the only one.
Just Endgame made $2 billion. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to beat Endgame.
So maybe it gets around there. All right. Like 1.8.
Yeah, 1.5.
1.5, 1.7.
1.4. Yeah.
On the flip side, they've confirmed The Marvels is the lowest grossing of the 33 MCU movies, finishing at $206 million worldwide. So, yeah.
Disappointment a little bit, huh?
A little bit. Still better than probably what Madam Web probably won't even make $100 million. So,
Yeah. Marvel's lost money, though, for sure.
yeah, for that one, Yeah, so that's weird. Okay, you got both sides of the thing. Okay, the next thing they talk about is Agatha Darkhold Diaries, because it is going to be one of the TV shows we're getting, and how they just had 1 day of reshoots instead of 5. Everybody...
Is that better?
Supposedly, yeah, that's good.
I think that's good. You save money, and they're like, we didn't need the 5 days after all. I think that's
okay.
I think that's a positive thing.
I don't know. I'm doubtful on that one.
You're not going to mention, you don't have this in your bullet points, so I'll just jump in and say it right here.
Yeah.
Another show they have already filmed, Ironheart.
Oh.
They're just, right now, it's all filmed. They just haven't, they're just holding it. They're not doing anything with it right now.
Okay. They're sitting on it, done filming. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of things they mentioned that are starting shooting, and a lot of things that are done shooting. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. They've hired Eric Pearson to polish the script for Fantastic Four. That's going to shoot this summer in London. He worked on Thor Ragnarok and Black Widow. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but the fact that they're still working on the script is
one was a film that a lot of people liked. The other one was kind of meh.
Yeah. So could go either way with the Eric Pearson. This one's interesting. They've hired Joanna Kahlo, who was the showrunner of The Bear, which everybody
Frida
loves.
Kahlo?
But not Frida Kahlo.
Oh.
She's great. Love her portrait.
That's your cousin.
No, we have certain things. We have certain similarities. I'll give you that much. We're both good painters. That's what I
haven't heard. Ross.
Yeah, sure. I was trying to figure out what you were going with that.
We're both artists.
So many directions. Like it's really it really could go in a lot of different places.
Joanna Kahlo, showrunner of The Bear, is working on the script for the Thunderbolts. That is, it says here they're going to begin shooting in March, but like Florence Pugh just posted, they have begun shooting this movie in Atlanta. And it says in here, the script change, it was centered on villains and anti-heroes going on a mission that was supposed to end with their deaths. This was going to be their Suicide Squad, but now it sounds like it's not. Is that good? I guess it's good. I like some of those characters. We don't want them all to die.
This isn't a Suicide Squad, so it shouldn't try to be that.
Right? Do you think somebody's not making it out of that movie, though, with this cast?
I mean, if someone dies, that's cool. Like it's adds stakes to the movie and some emotional weight.
Marvel doesn't kill people. When's the last time
they don't really do that, though? Yeah,
they killed someone important.
It doesn't. It seems forced.
Anthony, who doesn't make it out alive of the Thunderbolts, or is it? It's
Ghost.
Ghost. Nobody cares about Ghost.
No one cares about Ghost. Look, kill her.
Can't even see
her. She's already a Ghost. Taskmaster. No one likes that character.
Yeah. You could get rid of those. I don't know.
There's too many of the same character anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie's weird, but they're making it. They're making it. The next thing is kind of big. It regards Marvel dropping, Jonathan Majors and the whole Kang situation. They're saying here that the film, initially titled Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, will be getting a new title to remove the character's name. So they are going to change the title. But do they still recast, or they just don't use Kang at all? Still unclear.
Yeah,
no Kang.
Okay. I mean,
that's what I would do.
I was on the train of recasting Kang and keeping everything as is.
Yeah.
But Quantumania really also did a number on that character.
I feel like, and I've seen stories
having him lose to Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Really tough.
In that way, yeah. I think they may be recasting Kang and then just like make his role smaller or write him off in one more appearance. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure they're going to change the title. You can't have the movie called The Kang Dynasty anymore. It's just not going to work. I think it's a little tainted.
A little taint.
There's a little taint in there.
Go ahead.
Okay. And it also says in here the executives are calling this not a reboot, but a retooling, creative retooling. And finally, Iger really is excited about Captain America 4. He did not mention Blade at all. Now, here's the thing. They have 4 movies on the schedule next year. 4 MCU movies. They do not need to release 4 fucking movies. I think they should push back Blade.
Blade is not happening. I know that doesn't seem likely. I mean, they don't even have anything.
Yeah, no. So yes, the follow up story is that Mahershala Ali is still sticking around, and they finally gotten the script someplace where they like it. So at least they're like giving it time, and they're trying to.
Mahershala Ali is going to be dead.
I know. Oh my god.
Film this thing.
Oh my god. There's no way that. Yeah, Blade's coming out late.
They announced this guy in like 2019.
Yeah.
Or 2020, whatever that was.
It's been 4 years.
2019. Yeah. It's been almost going to be 5 years.
So they got to push it. You don't need to put up 4 movies. You got the 3 big movies. I hope Mahershala Ali stays around. But I read like that's the next article is Daniel Rickman is saying the script is better and he likes the script. That's why he's sticking around, which is positive, right? The things. So look, the things they're trying to do. I think this is all going to be really good once it all comes together.
Yeah, they needed to. We talked about they basically almost have hit ground zero with the Marvels and Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
and then Echo. Like these are all bad things. So they got their slap in the face.
There's nothing like exciting down the road. Like the only thing that's like that could be cool if they do Secret Wars.
Yeah, but
and they don't have Iron Man, they don't have the Cap, they don't have all the people that were in Secret Wars. So it's still gonna be like a funky Secret Wars anyway. It's not even gonna be like the real deal shit. So it's kind of like they put themselves in a bad corner. And they don't really have a lot of things that are exciting except for maybe Deadpool.
And if not the Marvels, Fantastic Four works out. That might
I'm still like that could be a great hit or it could be a complete flop. It's really one or the other.
Read what's their schedule coming up?
Oh, so there's Captain America. Hold on.
Like Captain America will be okay. I don't think it's going to be great. I think it'll be all right.
All right, we got Deadpool and Wolverine, July 26, 2024.
That's the only one this year.
That's
nice.
the only one.
One movie.
Right.
Great.
TV shows, we might get Agatha.
We're definitely getting Agatha.
Not watching that. No,
come on. I'm going to make you watch it.
He's going to make you watch it.
We're going to have to watch it.
If you count animation, X-Men 97, but let's just stick with live action for now.
Yeah.
February 14th, 2025, Captain America Brave New World.
Yes. Now,
that one's gone through a lot of reshoots.
Yes. This I heard the endings changed and whether Red Hulk is in there or the Serpent Society's been removed. They had the Jewish character. I don't know what has happened to this movie, but they're going to have to finish it.
Right. May 2nd, 2025, Thunderbolts.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
And then Fantastic Four would be the next one, right?
July 25th, 2025. And then they have Blade scheduled for November 2025. That's not happening.
Still November 7th, 2025. And then Avengers 5 and 6 in the May 2026 and 2027.
2026. And one of those, is Secret. Is it? Well, one of those is Secret Wars.
Secret Wars, would have been the one in 2027.
What happens to the first one? Maybe make it 2-part Secret Wars. You kind of want to build up to the Secret Wars. All right, wait.
I mean, I bet that's going to be what they're going to do is Doom. Tease Doom and Fantastic Four because that's what happened in the second Secret Wars. He is the one behind everything.
Yes. So regarding that, I have there's a couple. Before we get down to that, there's a couple other things about Fantastic Four saying Javier Bardem still current offer for Galactus and Herbie. They're looking for a comedian to voice Herbie. It's kind of fun. But have you seen all these crazy Henry Cavill and Daniel Craig MCU rumors? One of them or both of them has accepted a role in the MCU. And there was some confusion over whether Daniel Craig got the Doom role or Henry Cavill got the Doom role. Yes.
Daniel Craig?
Daniel Craig. Both, yes.
Oh.
James Bond.
That throws me off, but I don't hate that.
He would be an amazing Doom.
I think that would be pretty good.
I think he would be fucking great. Like that's I never would have even thought of that.
Yeah.
But that's great. But I don't see him doing it. I don't think he would do it.
Well, maybe Marvel backs up the Brinks truck for the guy. And they're like, we need to knock this out of the park with our next big villain.
Yeah, if you need a name, right? If you're going Javier Bardem, it's a pretty good name for Galactus.
Galactus?
Yeah.
They were just in a movie together too. They were just in a James Bond movie together.
Well, and Henry Cavill, I think Craig beat out Cavill for James Bond. But as far as Henry Cavill, who could he play? I want him
He's
to
the Beyonder.
Oh yeah, you think he's
You love-
Beyonder?
Yeah, you've said the Beyonder. The rumor that maybe it's too on the nose, but everyone's been saying Captain Britain.
So, like, would this guy do a supporting role, or would he want a lead role? You know, it's Henry Cavill. You're gonna think of Superman. I want him to play the character from Argyle in the MCU. I think that'd be hilarious. Give me the haircut back. But has he shooken off Superman? Like, if we see him in the MCU, is it gonna be weird? It'd be like, Superman is in the MCU. This is kind of weird, but I can get over it. Maybe.
Well, I think it'll be fine because they're doing a Superman movie in 2025. 2025.
That's true. So we will see a new Superman before then. Reset the Superman.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he wants to play against type. He was the savior of the DC universe. Maybe he's the Beyonder and he wants to go in the Thanos route where he's like a very memorable villain in a couple of parts of the maybe it was a 2-parter, 3-parter, whatever. So
if he's Beyonder and Secret Wars, I don't know who. Anthony, who else could he play? Sentry? No, I don't know.
Sentry, yeah.
That's up for grabs still. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although Sentry's he's a little bit of a meek guy when he's not the Sentry, so I'm not sure how. I'm not sure Henry Cavill. But definitely he wouldn't blend in a crowd. Let's just say that his physique. Who else could he play? I'm trying to think of like who they've got coming up.
What about any X-Men?
Make him play Mole Man.
Cyclops
is a Fantastic Four. Yeah. What about
He could play Cyclops.
What about X-Men? Wait,
But the Cyclops sucks. Like he's the leader, but he's like not really like the coolest.
no,
character.
he's kind of it's kind of a jerk, and he's like a good. But that's his role. Like that's the character, right? Is like
Right.
that you kind of.
He can be cool if you make him less square.
So Screen Rant here. Okay, it's got 10 roles for Henry Cavill in MCU. Dracula could be introduced in the Marvel Studios Blade.
No.
Conan the Barbarian. I guess it's not technically MCU.
No, he's not going to be Conan. No.
Black Bolt, but they're not going to do
Oh, they
anything.
don't really
No.
have that dude.
Yeah.
I
Who
would-
made this list?
This list is horrible. Genus Vell can be introduced.
Before Imran pulled that list, he's like, "This is a great list."
This list
And then-
is horrible. Sebastian Shaw for X-Men as an X-Men villain.
No.
Hyperion. That's
Hyperion, yeah.
that's Superman.
That's a great like fuck you casting.
Yeah, it would
yeah,
be.
because it's
But they're never going to do the Squadron Supreme though.
So they have in here the Beyonder Ruggs at number 4,
Yeah.
so it's not a horrible list. And then they have Cyclops number 3, Mr. Sinister. I don't like that role for him. As-
Mr. Sinister would be kind of fun.
He and like Sinister, I think, is the bad guy in the cartoon, in the new cartoon. And then Captain Britain, Henry Cavill, I think, said he wants to play Captain Britain. The Captain Britain thing would be fun. You could do Captain Carter in there too. It could be like that universe or something. I don't know. But
I'm interested to see how it pans out because there's a lot of things he can do. I definitely those 4: Beyonder, Captain Britain,
Hyperion,
and maybe Sentry. I think are in the sphere of what they could do with him. Sinister's interesting though.
Yeah, he could be. There's a bunch of roles in the X-Men things coming up. But I expect one or both of these people, Craig and Cavill, should pop up in the MCU. Should be fun. Okay, last thing in the news here. Last week we mentioned, I think it was last week, we talked about they're still making Jurassic Park movies. In fact, they're trying to get one out next July 2025. The same month Superman is coming out, Superman Legacy, and the Fantastic Four, as we just mentioned, is coming out. It's going to be a crazy July. David Leitch was in talks to direct. Well, that didn't work out, and they quickly hired a new director, deadline confirming Gareth Edwards will be directing this new Jurassic World movie.
Oh, shit.
Of course, Gareth Edwards directing Godzilla 2014, Rogue One, The Creator. I think this is a fucking great pick.
It's a slam dunk, but there's only going to be like 3 minutes of dinosaur action.
Well, look, but here's the thing. He gets to make up for Godzilla a little bit, maybe after all the backlash. And then what we saw he did with like a smaller budget and special effects than the creator. I really like the creator.
That's true. That's a good point.
I want to watch it again. It's on streaming. I think it's a really good movie. The end's a little rushed. Yeah, maybe a little convenient, but it's fucking. He did such a great job building that world.
Yeah, no, he's a really good pick. If you want someone to bring back the scale of the dinosaurs and making it awesome when they're on screen, I think he's the guy. I just think you'll need someone to punch up the script a little bit and make sure that it's not too slow.
The thing about him is he's really got a good vision and directorial panache, but he doesn't make amazing movies and he doesn't make shitty movies. He just he lands kind of right in the middle, like in the upper middle, which is better than being in the lower middle. But he kind of needs to ascend to another level. He needs to have more urgency in how he does things. You can't just plod along and like, you know what I mean? He's got to really understand the movies. I mean, I think the creator it moves at a better pace than Godzilla does.
Yeah.
And Rogue One.
Yeah.
But ultimately it didn't culminate into something great, as good as it could have been. So there's a disconnect there. And if I was him, I'd be like trying to figure out what that is and like trying to find somebody that could, like a partner or someone that works with him. Cause I think that's one of the things he needs. I think that he needs someone to bounce off of that is going to kind of edit him a little bit and steer him in the right direction. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, the good thing is the creator, he wrote, directed, and produced for this Jurassic Park film. He's just directing.
Exactly.
So.
He's just directing. And I kind of like this run of films. And this is like, I think it's a really good career move for him. Because according to this article, he met with Steven Spielberg, Frank Marshall, the producers. He impressed them, which is great. It's being written by David Kiep, who wrote the first couple of movies. And none of the old characters are returning. So this is a great time to reboot it for a new generation where you can make like 3 more movies with a cast that's relevant. Because like, I don't think, your Laura Dern and Sam Neill coming back is going to do anything anymore, right? Even Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, like you need the next generation. And yeah, his scale is amazing. Imagine the Rogue One scene with the AT-ATs. They look huge. Imagine that it's fucking dinosaurs. It's dope.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
I think it's really good. And this could be the thing that like Gareth Edwards needs, like you said, Rux. Like this could be like a big production where he's being overlooked by like Steven Spielberg's company, helps him fucking tighten things up and make something really cool.
But you're acting like these Jurassic movies are actually good movies.
But they could be. Look at the first one. The first one's really good. I mean, you don't think the first one's good?
Oh, yeah, the first one's an all-timer, but yeah, nothing since has been
Jurassic World, though.
Yeah, well, this is, I mean, the name is after the second set of these movies. But you can't go back to Park, so I don't know. What are you going to call it?
You got Jurassic Universe.
Jurassic. Yeah, I guess that is the next
that would be the next one.
Logical step.
Jurassic Studios.
Jurassic Galaxy.
Jurassic Solar System. Yeah.
Just gets bigger and bigger as the space is expanding. Okay, that's it for the news. We'll take a quick break here.
Play some promos
and come back and geek out about some kaiju. Whoa. In a wild ass movie right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey there, everyone. Brian here, host of TV Trivia Pod. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? And what's everyone eating in the post-credit scene of Avengers? Play along to TV Trivia Pod anywhere you get podcasts. And stay tuned for more trivia.
What's up? This is Brian, and I'm the host of Citizens of Pawnee, a Parks and Recreation podcast. That's right, a podcast dedicated to my favorite TV show, Parks and Rec. Every week I discuss my favorite things about the show, which include character breakdowns, episode rewatches, and other random facts and tidbits about the show. You can find me on Instagram at Citizens of Pawnee Podcast and listen wherever you get your podcast now. You will literally love it.
Jock and Nerd.
listener, if you enjoy the show, there is a way you can give back for all the silliness we have provided week after week. Join our awesome Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock-and-Nerd.
And you'll see there's tiers to give back on a monthly or annual basis, and you get different things like access to a podcast feed where the show comes out early. There's bonus content, instant reactions. You can join us on our monthly Discord hangouts. We just had one last week. Everybody was there. That was a fun one. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You never know where the conversation's going to go. We learned about shit tents and other such things.
Yeah, that's true.
And Jose Ibarra also gives me good recommendations of things to watch. I'll mention some later. But man, it's a fun time. This month's next one in March 21st, 2024. And there's other tiers and fun stuff. Fun benefits.
There's a tier where Imran sends you nudes.
Is there?
It's a secret tier, though.
This tier?
You just got to hit the number.
The only person that gets it is Dopo. So.
Oh, poor Dopo.
Yeah.
He hit the secret number. We don't tell you the number. You just got to hit it.
He just doled it out. And we're like,
Completely
all right,
And
Imran,
then all of a
strip.
sudden in your inbox, you open it up and you go, whoa.
I did not mean to send that to you, Dope. I'm sorry. It was meant for someone else. But if you like that, you want more, join my OnlyFans. $6.99 a month. No. What? I'm not doing that. Unless that's what you want, listener. Let us know. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Okay. You bastards, let's get to this week's movie review. We are continuing my journey reviewing random Godzilla movies to catch everyone up. Listener, Anthony, and
Yes.
Rug Boy.
Well,
have-
tell us why we're the theme we're doing on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, I'm just going to say, Anthony Rugboy, I've seen all the Godzilla movies. I have not, right? So, and then I decided to randomly watch some, and we decided 2 episodes ago, we watched the last movie in the Heisei era, Godzilla versus Destroyer from 1995. And then I just randomly, why don't I watch another end of an era movie? And so we are to jump ahead 9 years to 2004's Godzilla Final Wars, the end of the Millennium Era. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Lots of fun just jumping around to random Godzilla movies. Yes, so the Final Wars, the 29th film in the Godzilla franchise, and it's the 6th and final film of this Millennium Era that only lasted like 5 years, from 1999 to 2004. Very short era. This is 28th Toho Godzilla film, 29th total Godzilla film. A couple of notable things. This was Godzilla's 50th anniversary. 2004. This movie is also like an international co-production between a bunch of countries: Japan, Australia, United States, China. And this would be the last time Godzilla appeared in a Japanese movie until Shin Godzilla in 2016.
Oh, shit.
It's kind of crazy.
2014 for America. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, that's still a long time. It was like 10 years after this movie came out.
That's right. Yeah.
The movie, another weird thing, premiered in America first in November of 2004, and then premiered in Japan in December. Now, ahead of the premiere, Godzilla was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Geek boner.
That's kind of
Wow.
fun. Do you guys?
That's awesome.
So, do you guys remember any of this in 2004? It being the 50th year, and was this a big deal?
Yes. For me, it was, of course, because I was like waiting for like a big Godzilla movie to come out, like something that they spent money on. And I heard about the budget. It was like double the budget of like Tokyo SOS, which was a pretty good movie. So I was like, oh, they're really going out. Like, they're going all out. They're going to do some crazy shit in this movie.
All right, and they certainly do. Anthony, any memories from 2004 when this was all happening?
I don't think there was a period of time in the early 2000s where I was in the midst of becoming a teenager.
Oh, I see. Godzilla was not on top of mind.
Yeah, Godzilla was just not top of mind in that time. So I probably don't remember this coming out.
Yeah.
At that time, I wasn't probably all that aware of it.
Yeah.
I probably watched this movie or got wind of it later, like towards the end of like the blockbuster run. So probably in 2007, 2008.
Okay.
Somewhere between 2006 and 2010. I don't know. I'll tell my story later of how I saw this movie, but
interesting.
That's when I discovered this movie.
Okay. Good to know. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has 12 reviews, 50% tomato meter. The audience gives it a 71%. Ruggs, speaking of the budget, these are the numbers I kind of found translated to US dollars. I think these are right. I'm not sure. This budget, it's $20 million to make the movie.
Yeah.
And it severely underperformed, making only $12 million.
This cost more than -1.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did, which is wild. This one directed by this dude, Ryu Kitamura.
Ryuki Kitamura.
Ryuhi Kitamura. Ryuhi Kitamura, who...
Did you see, I watched his other movies, by the way.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, he did a movie called Alive. He did a movie called Izumi. Or is it Izumi? I thought I'm confusing it with a restaurant. I don't know.
They have great sushi in that movie.
But it's basically...
Oh, no, Izumi is a movie he did in 2003, yes.
Yes. Yeah, I saw his other films and I was like, oh, this motherfucker's going to direct Godzilla movies? Cool. Like, I was into it.
Because I think this is the only Godzilla movie he directs, correct? I think out of all
yeah,
these.
And then people were like, never touch Godzilla again.
I watched a couple of things, did a little research. I do understand that Kitamura was a fan of like the 70s Godzillas and wasn't really a fan of where Godzilla ended up in the 90s.
100%.
Right. So he wanted to go back and throw in some of that fucking campiness and wackiness, and he does. As far as the cast of this movie, I understand there are people from lots of the previous movies, including the original, including like Invasion of Astro Monster.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's the whole thing is kind of a tribute to the 50-year history of Godzilla. We do have to mention one Don Fry, UFC Hall of Famer. Don Fry. Yes. Okay.
He's definitely in it.
We'll get to him. But what can you tell me about
the old just to shout out the old people that are in it are Akira Takarada, who's in the original Godzilla. Yeah. Kumi Mizuno, who's in Invasion of Astro Monster, then Kenji Sahara, who's in a bunch of fucking films. So is Akira Takarada, and I think Kumi Mizuno's in a couple. But
yeah, they're all like spread out through different films.
Not only Godzilla films, but just Toho films in general.
Yeah, no, that's really great. Like, I really appreciated them bringing all that history back. Anthony, let's start with you real quick. What happens in this PG-13? It's 2 hours and 5 minutes. Godzilla Final Wars. What happens?
Oh man, this film I think it's kind of set in the future. It's kind of ambiguous when this is, but there are humans and there are mutant humans living and there are monsters all around, and these monsters start attacking, and all of a sudden aliens arrive and stop the monsters from attacking, and they want to form a partnership with the world with the Earth, because they claim a giant planet called Gorath is coming their way. But some humans, including one of the leads that is a mutant, discover that these aliens have nefarious ideas. They're not exactly who they claim to be. And the only way to defeat these aliens with control of all their monsters is to release Godzilla and begin the mission Final War.
Operation
Final War.
The way that line is said is classic.
Okay, but I want to know your guys' history with this movie. I understand it's very divisive amongst the Godzilla fandom. I find that fascinating. Let me just tell you, it's the first time I saw this movie, well, again, kind of out of context, out of order.
Yes, which is great that we're making you watch. You're just watching the last of every era film. So that's ridiculous to start.
Yes, why not? Well, and I liked Destoroyah, which is the last era, and while that one,
it's pretty much the same tone, right?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna compare it a little bit. That one is like serious, and I didn't expect Godzilla to die. And it's trippy, but it calls back to the original. This one is just a fucking over the top extreme celebration of all things Godzilla. This is a fucking wild fucking movie. All right. I kind of did appreciate all the wackiness, the campiness, the acting by Don Fry specifically is unbelievable. There's no less than 14 fucking monsters in this goddamn movie.
Oh, shit.
Holy shit. So much shit happens. The camera is spinning around They're, I love the influences from The Matrix to Star Wars, and it's just a completely different tone than Destroyer, and then, it leaves it off as also a celebration instead of like a crazy weird ending. It was completely different than fucking that movie.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
What did you have a better time watching, this or Madam Web?
Oh, absolutely. Fucking Final Wars, no doubt. Way more entertaining. Why didn't somebody tell me there's a pimp in this movie? That changes the entire conversation. Is this the only Godzilla movie with a pimp in it? If it is, it gets all the points.
That's New York, baby.
Yes.
New York's just got pimps.
That's how you know you're in New York. There's a homeless person, there's a pimp, there's a pink Cadillac. It's obvious,
and there's a cop.
And there's a cop. It's obviously New York City.
It's obviously Sydney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I get that it's like, it's also, I learned it's like the last suitmation movie they've ever made, right? So
It is.
he wanted to use,
At this point, yes.
he wanted to use the man in suit. The designs for all the creatures are crazy. It's I don't know. It was fun to watch, and I love how fucking it's just so fucking over the top. It's wild, and so there's like 30 minutes of monster action, and then there's like a whole hour with just people, and then like the last hour is all monster action.
Yep.
And yeah,
So you liked it?
I actually did. It was wild. It's a lot of fun, dude. It's like the Avengers, fucking Godzilla movies. Like everybody's in this fucking movie. Even the little fucking baby Minya that everybody hates.
Manila, yeah.
And then we'll talk about kind of some of the references, some of the monsters they use. They're critiquing and reaction to the Hollywood 98 movie is great in this. It's just wild. It's a wild movie. Now, Ruggs, let's start with you.
Sure.
Tell me your thoughts about this. Opening thoughts.
So this thing comes out on video in 2005, and I had pre-ordered it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was like, couldn't wait to watch this fucking movie. I saw stuff on the internet back in the day when, in 2005, when you looked at the internet, it was very different than today. You got you didn't get clips and stuff like that. You just got some still images here and there. So I was very excited for this movie because I heard that they changed Godzilla's suit so he could be more flexible and actually move.
Yeah.
More like he did in the 70s, which I like. Because, as I said, Godzilla versus Megalon is a shitty movie, but when I was a kid, that shit was awesome. And I thought he was going back to that. And that's exactly what the intent was.
Yeah.
But the problem with the movie is that Godzilla goes away for most of the movie. And when he comes back, he fights people in 2 seconds. He literally he's so overpowered that he just one-shots everybody.
Yes.
I'm and even though he's got that mobility, they don't really use it to its full extent until they use it in tidbits. So they don't maximize.
But he's
what they
fucking
could do.
jumping and shit and spinning around.
Right. So they do use it, but they use it throwaway ways instead of a very, very cool way.
I mean, he's got 14 monsters to battle and he kind of runs through them all, but it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, but as I was ultimately that Don Fry being in this movie.
Yes.
That threw me for a fucking loop. I didn't know what I was reeling from that. I didn't know what to think of that. I was like, why is this guy with a huge mustache that can't speak English speaking English very poorly? But he's actually speaks English. I don't understand. He's an American dude.
And the only one who speaks English and everybody understands him and he understands Japanese and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And I had seen Kitamura's other movies to get prepared for this. And I knew that he was he did these low budget movies with a lot of cool karate in them and like martial arts and flipping around and whatever. And so I was happy that he brought that into the film, but I felt like that the focus was more on the mutant characters than Godzilla. In fact, I think the best scene in the whole movie was when they go up against fucking Ibira and they fucking so much shit is exploding.
Well, that's the
They're
one
firing.
where they got like rocket launchers, right? It's like the humans.
Yeah,
and
they're running around
They're,
rocket
they're flipping on top of him and jumping around, and you get all the jumping shots. Yes, and
So-
there's actual explosions happening in the background.
Yeah, it was pretty badass scene, but like I was like, whoa, this doesn't seem like this is cooler than Godzilla almost. Like this is like really badass, and it's like taking the focus off Godzilla. So I think that he was just all over the place.
Yeah.
And I did not like this movie at all when I first saw it.
Okay.
The only thing I liked was Godzilla's design. I liked that he was kind of limber and able to kick ass, and he had this really mean face. I don't like the way that the suit is done, because like the other suits had more expression. He was able to furrow his brow and do things with his tongue and open it and move his head better. And this one didn't have that animatronic ability.
Yeah.
It did. He wasn't able to close his eyes or anything like that. But it was a more like simple suit. But I thought the design of it was cool, and I thought that the functionality of it was good. And they still use it in shorts to this day.
Oh,
so because you can do a fight with Jet Jaguar, and you could actually have him move around and shit.
he's got the long neck and the pointy ears.
Yeah, I like this design. It's one of my. A lot of people don't like it. It's one of my top. I would say my top 10. It's in my top 10 for sure.
Did you like the movie now?
Watching it, I've watched it many times, and every time I watch it, Don Fry grows on me.
Yeah, his mustache.
And so I started to like him, and I just remember it like the last time I watched it when he raises his hand to hit the girl, and she's like, "You wouldn't hit the
woman,"
and then he just makes that smile, and then he opens up his hands and and karate chops her in the neck.
He says, "Yeah," then he smacks her. I was like,
And I'm like, you know what? I kind of can get down with this guy.
Don't miss the train.
I can see I can see why Kitamura was into this dude. So
you appreciate it. You like it better now than when you first saw it.
it's a bad movie that's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's a little long and a little overstuffed, a little overcomplicated. There's a much simpler, more streamlined film. I heard that he shot like a ton more.
It sounds like there's a lot of deleted scenes. Yes.
So
there's clearly a Hedora Ibra fight with Godzilla.
Yeah, because that was real short in the movie. Anthony, when you first saw this, what did you think?
So as mentioned, I didn't see it when it first came out. I probably saw it between like 2005 to 2008, I would assume, somewhere in there. And I remember hearing about it because of the internet, going, "Oh shit, there's a new Destroy All Monsters," which is basically what this is a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to watch it. And I remember vividly going to Blockbuster, and there was only one copy of the film, and I would go there every couple days, and it was always rented. And I had to keep coming back over and over and over until I finally got it. And then I watched the movie, and similar to my reaction for a lot of Millennium films, but I watched the movie, and I wasn't a kid anymore. I was a teenager.
Yeah.
So I had a little bit different outlook on these things, and even as a teenager, I always liked the Showa era films as a kid, but I always gravitated towards the Heisei era films. So when I first saw this film, I was pretty disappointed. I thought it was crap. I didn't like how fast Godzilla ran through all the monsters. I didn't like how goofy it was.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of things in this movie. The end battle I thought was fun. I thought that was fine, like him versus Monster X that turns into Kaiser Ghidorah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But I didn't like I didn't like adding in mutants. The design of Godzilla, I liked like the body. I think his face is a little ratty.
Yeah.
So pros and cons there. But overall, I wasn't that fond of the movie. And then I may have watched bits and pieces of it throughout the years since, but I never really revisited it till literally the other day.
Yeah.
Watched this movie again.
Yeah.
Because I never had any interest. I always thought of it as a goofy film, and I've seen clips of it. But I watched it again the other day, and I'll start by saying it's a really bad movie. I mean, in terms of like just tone and acting and the utilization of the monsters, like it's as if it's a sci-fi film, like a sci-fi Channel film.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
your Sharknado or
Yes.
your boa versus python or some bullshit like that.
Yes.
But I gotta say, if you go in with the right mindset,
yes,
it is really entertaining.
I thought so.
I had a good laugh watching it this time, knowing that it was bad.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun with it this watch. I mean, I was cracking up when Godzilla does the soccer save.
Oh my god.
And
yes.
King Caesar does the freaking bicycle kick, and Godzilla's trying to block. I don't know what he's trying to
He's
do.
like
He's trying to
jumping out of the
block.
way.
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
unclear. I don't
Unclear
know
what's going on there.
What is he doing?
He was going for like a goalie save, but why?
But, I mean,
Jump
you
out of
got
the way.
that. You got the main bad guy
Oh yes,
just hamming it up.
Yes.
I mean, just wow,
that
like every
guy
time a
is
monster dies.
also my favorite character, along with
He does the
Captain Gordon.
shocker all the time.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, you've got the Zillions in this. You have them. Don Fry's just acting. You got Ray Sefo and Gary Goodrich, who are also in the movie. They're the guys guarding Godzilla.
Oh, those two guys were hilarious. Yes, at the end.
There's just so many things. I think for me, I mean, the tone is all over the place. The action is really choppy and edited. But for me, I really enjoyed it the second time I seen it.
I also like the perverted nature of Kitamura's direction, where there's always like panning up girls' legs.
Oh,
yeah.
There's a lot of legs in this movie. There's some
Spinning
good-looking-
shots.
good-looking girls.
The
lots of
only
spinning.
big miss for me is I wish they would have just made Gigan the main villain, because
there's two
Gigan looks
Gigans.
awesome in this
Yeah.
movie.
Okay, they forced Mothra to be in this movie, which didn't even need to be in this movie.
So here, real quick, here's a list of every monster that's in this movie: Monster X, Kaiser Ghidorah, Zilla, which is the '98 Godzilla, Rodan, Martha, Gigan, Martha. Why'd you say that name? Mothra, Gigan, King Caesar, and Geras, Minya, how do you say that? Kumanga, Kamakuris, Manda, Hidora, and Ibira. That's a lot.
They're missing a few. They Megalon should have been in this.
No, there's still more.
Yeah, Megalon should have been in there.
There's no
Megalon
Biolante.
should've-
What about Biolante?
No, well, this is
Too
more
hard.
of a Showa.
Well, I could
Too hard.
I could see how if you were a fan of those '70s Godzilla movies, this like he made it for you. Like that's what he was going. for,
What he
right?
did was he made kind of his own love letter to
Yeah.
those movies, but then also went, I like X-Men and the Matrix, and I
yes.
have a budget to do
yes,
scenes where it's not just humans looking at a screen, so I'm going to do fight scenes as well.
Yes, let's do bullet time just cause.
I mean, some of it even kind of reminded me of a bad interpretation of what's the fucking director's name? Face Off.
John Woo.
Yeah, I can see
Like when
that.
they're fighting on the bikes.
Oh, the motorcycle chase scene is crazy. That's totally John Woo, where
But,
they're
like,
just spinning, and shooting.
I think he's talented. I think he pulled a lot of that stuff off, but like it just distracted from Godzilla being
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
So-
it's like they put him on ice.
Yeah.
He's gone for
Right.
most of the movie, and
Yeah.
then they resurrect him in the last hour to
course.
like kick everyone's ass.
Yeah.
And let's just talk about one other thing, which is the American Godzilla. So they got the rights to American Godzilla that actually Toho's like, you could use it, like if you want to. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna fucking put him in the movie.
Yeah.
And they wanted to do like a longer scene.
Yeah.
But then they decided, no, fuck it. We don't have the time or the money to do this. So let's just make it short and sweet. And we're just going to like have him die like really, really
But I think it
easily.
works fine as that short scene. It's even more of a harsher commentary on what they think of that movie, right? And,
Exactly.
And I like how he's live action and they did a CGI version like in the '98 of Zilla.
I
and just
love
put
that
him up.
they just play Sum 41 during
Oh,
that.
I wanted to talk about the music. Okay, first of all, the music is composed by Nobuhiko Marino, Daisuke Yano, and Keith Emerson.
Who does the most ridiculously bad song?
It's Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, a '70s prog rock band. Kitamura was a fan of Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. And there's some fucking wacky music. So they don't
That
use
music
any-
sounds like a cutscene from like a Nintendo
It
RPG.
does.
Yeah.
It sounds like video game music.
that was the one of the worst. So that like like awful.
Yes.
But I will give the music for the most part is terrible. They don't use any of the Ifukube stuff.
Yeah, they don't use any
Awful.
of the original music.
I will give them one. The Sum 41 song I kind of like,
but I was enjoying like the hip hop beats and then like the generic industrial rock and the generic.
Most of that's awful. But I will give them the Sum 41 song just because I think it's hilarious that Sum 41's in a Godzilla movie. The song that they use for the opening credits where they're flashing through all the Godzilla films, I actually like.
That's great. Yeah.
And it's like they're cutting through all the old Godzilla movies. I
love those credits too. I was like, oh my god, look, it's all the movies like that.
They never did that before either.
That was pretty cool, and like that is.
I vividly remember seeing that as a teenager and rewinding and watching it again because I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So let's shout out all the old movies. And it's cut well because there's a lot of like explosions and the Godzilla like doing. I think different
the guy who did that did actually the '98 Godzilla opening credits, which were actually pretty good as well. So
can we just talk about the pimp scene? This is hilarious. So in the beginning of the movie, all these monsters attacking different locations, and Rodan is attacking New York. Rodan looked fucking dope, by the way. Whatever.
Yeah, Rodan looks great.
Some of the monsters are CG, and then they go practical. They use both, but that CG Rodan looked amazing. Anyways,
come on, stop. The CG Rodan looked amazing.
I mean, that shot in front of the moon, it was amazing.
Stop it.
The shot in front of the moon.
The CG here, stop it. Imran. The CG here is your like horrible 2000 CG. Don't.
It looks like Anthony said, it's like a sci-fi TV.
Well, that's what it reminded me of. All those shows.
The suits look good, but don't say the CG looks good.
That's what I was like. I was like, what does this remind me of? And it reminded me of those early 2000s like sci-fi shows. Where you get, and I was like, I couldn't put my finger on it. There's so many Dutch angles. It's never straight. The camera's always spinning and moving. But I want to talk about the pimp scene because they established, as we said, it's New York City. There's a cop. There's a pink Cadillac that's getting towed. And this pimp just walks up to the cop and goes, "You're a dead man." And then just fucking pulls a gun on him. It's wild, right? This guy does not get shot.
Pretty sure the cop is saying his lines, but it's not him. It's ADR'd over his face.
Yeah, because he's dropping the F-bomb.
You can see him say the F word. I was like, well, holy shit. What the fuck? I had to rewind it. I was like, did he just swear? Yes, he's clearly saying fuck, which is hilarious. And then the most hilarious thing is when Rodan attacks and like the wind hits them, their hats fly off and they make a cartoony.
Yeah, they didn't mean to do that. I don't know why they chose to do that.
Because
well, on that note, one of the big problems with the film is literally every scene is just a different tone. It goes from wacky to sci-fi to over the top to kaiju battle to body horror.
Yeah.
And this director, it was like he couldn't decide what he wanted to do. So he just combined everything he ever liked in a movie. In a Godzilla.
Yeah, it's really a mixed bag. It's not focused at all. It's like all over
very
the place.
Unfocused.
But yeah, and I was along for the ride because I was like, I don't know what the fuck's happening, but it
look, if you're gonna make a bad movie and you're gonna waste $20 million, at least put in some memorable shit that's funny and or ridiculous. Like the fact that they chose Don Fry and they stuck with it, like they took like a couple of takes of him, they're like, no, we're gonna keep going with this guy. Like even though when he goes, and Godzilla, like he says it like he says it like he burps in between the line. He's like, the only thing standing there between the world is me and Godzilla. Like that's what it sounds like. There's like a weird awkward pause, like he was just like belching, but like, and they just stuck with him. And then like, you know what? By the end of the movie, you're like, oh, this guy's the only, like you hear, okay. So you hear, like, at one point in the movie that he had smacked his superior officer, who is a woman.
That's that older woman that he was talking to, yes. He's like, that. Did he punch her?
And the reason why he's locked up is because he smacked an old lady.
Yes, because, yes.
Well, how about, I didn't catch this on my original viewing, but how about the shot where it's him, Don Fry, and then they go back to the shot where they trapped Godzilla in the ice, and they cut to the young Don Fry, and that guy's got to be... Yeah, it's supposed to be him. It's like that guy's got to be 120 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
How is that guy become Don Fry?
Wait, that was the same. He was in the beginning when they put him in the ice?
Yeah, he was the guy who shot Godzilla and put him in the ice.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's a completely different actor that doesn't look anything like Don Fry.
Yeah, I missed it the first time around too. I was like, oh, really? I kind of missed that.
I also love at the end when they finally release Godzilla, right? They fire all those missiles and you see the missiles hit the ice and then it cuts away and it cuts back and Godzilla is just like standing there. He's just on top. We didn't see him actually.
But see, Gigan, they really did good with Gigan, but they make him such a schlub. They completely redesigned him.
He looks
Made him
badass.
yeah, he looks awesome.
Yeah.
He's this ancient mechanical thing
Cyborg.
that got stuck on Earth and has been frozen, and they just destroy him twice.
So
They can just
there
SP
was two
twice.
versions of it, right? And both times he gets taken out like really weirdly. Well, Godzilla blows off his head first time, but then he comes back and he's got chainsaw arms and a buzzsaw in the chest and shit. And then I did like Mothra on fire. Those buzzsaws actually come back and kill him. And then
Right.
Mothra on fire just drives into him. And did Mothra dies also? They both
Mothra
Yeah.
dies, yeah.
Yeah, Gigan, I was like, this is going to be a problem. But then you got monsters. There's so much shit. So much shit happens in this movie.
A lot.
It's so fucking crazy.
What did you think of the main Monster X villain?
I thought that was, he was good. He reminded me of, remember in The Flash, what was that villain that it was Future Barry? And he had that one suit. It looked like that suit initially, the Monster X suit. Fuck.
Oh, I know what you're talking
I
about.
can't remember the name of the fucking character over there. That was a pretty crazy battle. The shots of after it, like the asteroid hits and there's a crater and Godzilla's just standing there. That shit is
The
cool.
hellscape thing actually was kind of cool.
The fire.
You'd never seen that where it's just completely
everything's done.
decimated.
Yeah. Very post-apocalyptic. It's dark, like the setting. It's just
all of
everything's
Japan
demolished.
is destroyed.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything's destroyed. They're fighting through explosions and shit. Is pretty dope.
I didn't really like the Monster X design. I felt it was almost a little too. It looked a little too humanoid with an alien body on top. It just didn't look like a natural monster that you would have seen. And
yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of Monster X. When he turns into Kaiser Ghidorah, I was a little bit more on board. But you do have the scene where it's old school pro wrestling where he bends Godzilla's wrist.
Oh yeah,
so that
lifts
Godzilla
him up. I was like, that's
straight out of like Hulk Hogan
like,
and Ultimate
yes.
Warrior.
That's the
But
move.
when he turns into Kaiser Ghidorah, he literally beats Godzilla's ass for like 10 minutes.
He does.
Oh yeah, he's
He
got
does.
like 4 legs, right? And then he kicks his ass and he's biting him
So
in all 3 places, sucking his energy.
let me just get this plot point in because we completely haven't mentioned it at all.
Here, let's hear it.
Okay, so the whole movie rests on this idea that the mutants that are on Earth are actually alien DNA.
M-base. They have M-base. The kaiju
yes.
have M-base. The
They
aliens
have
have M-base.
Some of the kaiju also have.
Yeah, so
Oh,
they've infused them. These alien DNAs is prevalent throughout the monsters and these mutants that have appeared, and these mutants are basically like superhumans and that can do crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I forgot what the point is, but I think that at the end of the movie, he finds that there's this one guy that we're following
Ozaki,
that ends up being a Kaiser.
Yes, yes.
And a Kaiser is not a bun. You're a superhuman to the degree where you're like Neo in the Matrix.
Right.
You can like stop bullets and shit like
he
that.
has like vague powers when they emerge.
So throughout this movie, you have these mutants that are being able to be controlled by the Exilians. And so at a certain point in time, they turn all of the mutants
Against
on
them.
the humans.
Yes.
And then there's this one dude who's the guy who was in charge of the mutants.
Yeah.
And he fucking fights them all.
Yeah, that was great. That's a great
I
scene.
thought that he was going to die, but then at the very when the Gotengo finally launches, the Gotengo is the last fucking human spaceship that could fucking take on the Exilians. It goes out into the world, and then like the guy who's just probably beating the shit out of all these mutants comes out, falls down on the ground, lays up, and he sees the Gotengo, and he just starts laughing maniacally.
That's who that guy was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the guy that held them all off.
And I forgot, I never caught that before.
So I was confused. I was like, wait, who's that guy?
That guy was a badass, yeah.
But then they killed all their mutants. Like, there was their own people. They all died at the end.
They all
on
died.
the spaceship.
I mean, but the thing is with that Gotengo thing. The huge amongst probably many plot holes, but what's happening is the Godzilla recognizes the Gotengo as the thing that it's a ship that put him in the ice. So he's pissed and he's following.
Right. He keeps hitting them
And
even
the
though they're saving
Gotengo
him.
is leading him
It's
to different
bait.
monsters to take out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically bait.
Yeah.
But these aliens who are so advanced can't just realize, hey,
Take out the
if
Gotengo.
we take out the Gotengo, it's over.
Well, and they tried, and they had like hundreds of ships flying around apparently, and couldn't take down the Gotengo. It's just
But they took out all the other ones.
yeah. Oh yeah, the other
But
side
the
ship.
other didn't have a guy with a mustache
No,
driving.
you don't have Captain
But that's
Gordon.
true.
He'll
The
keep
guy who was slapping old ladies in
he doesn't
charge.
give a
Okay.
fuck. Captain, yes.
Because he's dressed as M. Bison from Street Fighter.
Yes. Why is he dressed like a Russian soldier?
Or Mario. It
Yeah.
depends on
He looks like a chubby Tom Selleck, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, this guy, I loved his mustache.
Yeah, to reiterate, for those who haven't seen the movie, Don Fry, former UFC fighter, can't act a lick.
Nope.
Just speaking English, everyone speaking Japanese, they all understand
Makes no
each other.
sense, but he's
Back
hilarious.
and forth conversation in two different
But
languages.
you know what? He's like one of my favorite characters in this whole movie. The bad guy is great, right? He's playing.
Oh, the bad guy's got the most hittable face in the world.
And he's playing it like he's the Joker. His maniacal laughing, I thought, was lovely. Like it was just, I'm like, this guy's a fucking psychopath.
His reactions every time a
Yes.
kaiju gets beaten.
Yeah, he
is,
throws
is
a little
great.
tantrum. He's like, every time Godzilla beat one of his monsters.
I want
Great.
to. I want to mention Akira Takarada for a second. So
Oh,
there's
yeah.
this whole bit where
The UN
he,
secretary, right? That's
where
the
he
sec-
loves his dog, and they use this ruse
Yes.
to try and prove that he's an alien.
Yes.
that's
he's-
been
yes.
so by using the dog, and that was a great scene with
That was a
him.
good
And
bit.
he got some screen time, but then for the rest of the movie, he's holding this really fake looking laser gun.
Yes.
And it looks really weird. He's just running around with this thing that's obviously a squirt gun.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, I love
he's
that we are
acting his best.
I love that we are supposed to believe all the old actors that come back have been taken over, body snatched, but then they get freed and
yeah.
and they're in the ship with the water pistols.
Yes.
And they're
Lasers.
behind a pillar, and all these aliens are shooting at
Yes.
them, and they're like holding them off.
He has
These old guys that are holding off these aliens that supposedly have M thing in them.
M-Mace. They were the mutants
Yeah.
that were turned on them or whatever. And the
Right?
aliens.
It's just so implausible.
He has the best line. Remember when they finally get freed after, and the guy's like, "Mr. Secretary, you okay?" He goes, "Yes, I escaped somehow." That was the line. That's how he explained how they escaped.
No one who's listening to this can follow what we're saying,
That's the
but
thing, you
we're
got this-
having a great time
so
talking.
many
about it.
things
you
happen.
have to
movie.
watch it.
Yeah. Well, so that, basically, so many things happen. Godzilla is put in ice, then monsters attack, then monsters are zapped up by these aliens who say, "Trust us, we're trying to help you," which is, I know, a thing off of Invasion of Astro Monsters. Same thing happened.
Right.
They have
It's
the
the same
black
thing.
bands, right?
It's the same thing that happens with every alien invasion.
They
in Godzilla film.
replace the leaders of the Japan with aliens, and of course you can't trust them. And they release all the monsters, and then the humans realize, oh, we need Godzilla to help
Well,
us.
They want to mine the earth to eat humans. Basically.
Well, yeah, they like, we need you. You are our fuel.
But this movie is, I mean, it's so poorly made. It's in some points. It's poorly
Everything
edited.
about it is not fully baked.
No,
Everything
no,
about
I mean,
it is.
It's so. You mentioned earlier where they kill Ibra with humans.
Yeah, that was
but
crazy.
then there's a scene later where Ibra gets tossed into Hedorah's eye.
Oh,
and
yes.
you go, wait a minute, didn't you kill Ibra?
When did this happen?
Why is he alive?
No, they were about to kill it, and then they got disappeared.
Was that what happened? I'm pretty sure his claws were all blown off.
Yeah, his claw was blown off. Yes,
But-
absolutely.
And now-
I think he was dead.
What did you guys think of Godzilla's offspring role? I mean, yeah.
They should have left him out of the movie, 100%.
Because it's random that this old
See,
man and this kid
I
find
disagree.
him.
When I first saw it, I hated it.
Yeah.
Now as an adult, I freaking died laughing when Manila and the boy
Manila.
both are blocking the
Yes.
humans and the monster and Godzilla from shooting each other.
Stop.
Was it Big Action Bill that pointed out like how, all right, so Godzilla is God, and then Manila is the son of God,
Oh God!
and he's in a Christ pose, telling God not to be angry at the humans.
He might have
And
pointed that out.
Yeah, and I thought that was a reach, but I think it's also hilarious.
Well, I just love 'Cause the way I liked the reason I liked it, it's not good, but the reason I liked it is if you're gonna throw back to the show era, you need Manila in there. You also need a kid in there that interacts with Manila because you got to homage Godzilla's Revenge, and that's what they did. They homage Godzilla's Revenge.
They really tried to do everything in this movie.
He literally pulled almost everything he could from every Showa film that he thought was goofy as fuck. I mean, all that's missing is Megalon, Jet Jaguar, and Mechagodzilla, and you would have had a feast.
That's interesting.
I mean, admittedly, they do run through all the fights way too quickly.
All right, wait. Let's go over the fights real quick. Was there anything you liked? Like, let's start with the Gigan. The first Gigan fight. There's ropes and shit. It's pretty cool. Godzilla blows.
Yeah, so he's got Godzilla with his chains.
Yeah, these chains are crazy.
And then all you see is Godzilla's breath charge up. You don't even see it. And then they cut to like...
It wasn't me. I was confused when his head blew off. I was like, wait, what just happened? Because they don't show it. You're right. Okay. I didn't miss something. Because I was like, wait a minute. What just blew his head off? I didn't get it. Anyways, then...
Should have been an epic fight, but no, it wasn't.
Then we have Kumonga, the giant spider. And the spider fucking looks amazing. I thought the spider looked very impressive.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that he just let go and he flew away. I thought that was stupid.
Yeah, so
he tosses him into the universe.
He spits these yellow webs that remind me of the 70s Spider-Man show, like when that Spider-Man spud webs, it looks like that. Yeah, and then he grabs him by a web, just spins him around, and he flies off into the sky. He's dead.
Yeah, I would have like slammed him on the ground and like stomped him to death like a bug.
Next is Kamakuris. That's the praying mantis looking.
That was okay.
Thing.
At least he impaled it.
Yeah, impaled on an electrical tower.
Well, Kamakuris in this one can camouflage, which is a new.
Oh, that's right. It was in the trees, and then it came out of there, and then we got a 3-way fucking battle. As Rodan, Anguirus, and King
these
Caesar.
are all Godzilla's boys, by the way.
Right. So, and they're being controlled right now, though, by the aliens to attack.
Yes, so Godzilla doesn't want to kill them.
Ah.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So that's why when they're all piled on top of each other, he just like walks away.
This was, yes, he doesn't kill him at the end, he lets him live, but this was a fun fucking battle because I love Anguirus's fucking spin ball move where he just curls up into a ball.
He becomes Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, that's devastating.
Well, you want to know how they figured out who was going to be in this? Oh. I think they sat in the room, Kitamura, and I forgot the name of the main producer of this. They sat in a room and they got all the toys out. And they were like comparing toys, like, oh, this the toy that they just were like playing with the toys and figured it out. And then they were also the video game, Destroy All Monsters. Oh. They got that move for Anguirus from the game.
Oh, yeah, it was in the game. The Super Nintendo game.
That's right.
You know, and there's that scene with that kid playing with all the Godzilla toys, too. And, like, he throws away...
With chocolate on his face.
Yeah, with chocolate on his face.
The way that ends with all the monsters stacked up on each
Yes, that's hilarious.
I mean, that's just straight out of a cartoon.
So this is where Anguirus is rolling around in a ball, and King Caesar kicks him like a soccer ball, and then Godzilla jumps towards
He goes for a soccer save.
Yeah. Like
as if he's a goalie.
Is he trying to help not so he doesn't get hurt, Anguirus? Is that why?
It's unclear. It's just the director thought, I want to see Godzilla do a soccer save.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to appeal to soccer fans. Like, that's the most corporately stupid thing to do. Why do it?
Well, as we're going through the fights, like, this is why when I see something like Pink Godzilla, I go, fine. Because you know what? It's not any stupider than what the damn studio that owns it has done with Godzilla.
Right.
Then this is the real quick Hedorah and Ibira.
Super disappointing.
Yeah, he just like throws him into buildings, and I was like, "What happened?" And he blasts him, and that's it.
And if you look up that Hedorah design, it's actually pretty cool.
Oh, it's different.
It's a little different.
The eyes are different.
Really good.
Yeah.
It's too bad we didn't see more Hedorah.
I like seeing Hedorah. I was like, "Oh, there's the smog monster." I know that one. We watched that movie. But yeah, I think there was more. The scene was longer and got cut out. And then this giant asteroid planet is just coming at Godzilla, and he blasts it, and it hits him, and it makes a fucking giant explosion, and they're fine. Yeah.
Godzilla now has just like got the strength to shoot his ray into space. We've never seen that before.
Yeah, that was crazy. He's like trying, but it doesn't stop it
he like
at all.
Plants his legs down. Yeah. He like stomps his legs into the ground, and then he does this beam.
Yeah.
and tries to
out into space.
Hey, when people complain about Godzilla shooting a hole into Hollow Earth,
Yeah, that's a good point.
get back to me and watch Final Wars and shooting
You know
into
what?
space.
You
All right,
make a good point.
There's precedent for him being able to do things like this.
All these things we see him do in those legendary movies. That's a good point.
He's done it.
And so now we get to the hellscape background. I love the shot of Monster Zero silhouette kind of floating down behind him. That's fucking dope. And then the Monster Zero battle is crazy.
It's long.
And
a long battle.
I love when they do that battle and then they cut to the Kaisers fighting each other.
Oh yeah.
And then like you see them like one guy's walloping the other one, and then in the background
on the
Godzilla's
screen,
walloping,
Doing the same shit.
Yeah.
I actually liked that.
That was great. Yeah, that was a nice juxtaposition.
like just pounding
Yeah.
Godzilla pounding people with all of his might with his fists. God damn it.
Meanwhile, the Mothra twins are like, oh boy, but he needs Mothra's help, and Mothra tries to take out
Because of
Gigan.
another Gigan,
Yeah, the upgraded Gigan is there with the dope fucking double chainsaws. Also, meanwhile, they pull a Star Wars as the guy like flies into the ship to take the shield down, which is
course.
total Star Wars, and they're trying to penetrate.
This movie is the epitome of no shame.
And so then it gets weird because he's fighting both like Gigan and Monster Zero, and then Mothra flies from behind him and knocks him over or something, or he knocks them over. It's unclear. And
Oh yeah, they're both standing together, and Mothra comes from behind and like clotheslines them from the back, and they both fall forward.
they both fall forward, and this
Yeah.
is when Gigan releases the buzzsaws, and they come back and they cut him, and Mothra explodes.
Yeah,
blah,
she
blah, blah.
dodges them,
Yes.
and then they fly back and
yes,
cut his head off.
And then you have the final battle as the thing turns into Kaiser Ghidorah, which was crazy. Should have saw that coming. But yeah, Godzilla proceeds. Oh no, we did mention he's getting his ass kicked. They're biting him in 3 different places, and the Gotengo is like, we need to shoot Godzilla, or he releases his
Power him
mutant energy.
Yeah, so the main character, who is now the Kaiser,
Yes.
he has all his untapped energy, and so he uses the Gotengo to launch a beam into the back of Godzilla's fins,
Charging up
and
his
charges
fins.
him up.
Yeah.
And now he can kick the shit out of Kaiser Ghidorah.
This is great because he just rips 2 of the heads right off and then grabs a third one and fucking swings it around like it's a fucking teddy bear. And then
he's like on roids.
Oh.
And then he does the spin, and then he does the red ray with the fucking the spiral red ray.
Oh yeah, he does the
and
little
just-
spin move.
and he pushes Kaiser Ghidorah back out into space where he explodes.
And that's the end of Kaiser Ghidorah. You know what? I did kind of like better in Destroya, where he's got a motivation, right? He just saw his kid die and he's pissed like that. This is just fucking.
Well, this one he's just rampaging.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is like, yeah, he's rampaging, he's doing his thing, but as soon as he fucking kills Kaiser Ghidorah, he turns right to the Gotengo.
Yes.
He's like, I'm gonna
He's
fucking
like, fuck you
this
guys too.
motherfucking thing.
I remember you. I'm not done with you.
Yeah, you think you're gonna get away with what you did to me?
And
you
I was
fucks?
like, he's trying to help. They're trying to help you, Godzilla. What are you doing? But so the Gotengo also from an earlier movie, right? Like in the 60s.
yeah, these are all things from other movies.
That's
sure.
great. That's great. Like it really is. He put a little bit of everything.
I mean, yeah, even in the beginning, they show some clips of monsters, and it's a lot of Showa era 60s, 70s monster clips that they show. They show
I think
Warrior
it's Atragon
Gargantua.
is the movie.
Atragon,
Yes,
they
that's
show
where the
War of the
Gotengo-
Gargantuas. So,
Yeah.
no, the guy you can, the guy might have needed. He might have been like a fucking. He needed to be herded in a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
But the guy clearly loved Showa. Like,
Yeah. You can see the passion in the fan.
Why do you think people hate it so much? Because it's
Why
a bad
is it so
movie.
divisive?
because it's just bad. I mean,
It's
because
bad.
it's a bad movie. I mean, it's just so good. You have to go into this movie with a mindset of, I know that this is going to be bad,
Like,
but
I'm
I'm going to
watching-
embrace it.
Like I'm watching The Room. Like I know I'm
Yes.
watching a terrible
Or is
movie.
it more of like a Zack Snyder over the topness where it's just
No,
one
Zack
told him
Snyder.
no.
Zack Snyder films take themselves very seriously.
Yeah.
There's nothing serious about this film.
No, but I kind of enjoyed that it was just
But this,
having fun with
you
the
want to
kid.
know what? This is the most like Godzilla versus Kong that there is.
Yeah.
Kind of is, and that's what those movies are doing. Is this
Like Godzilla versus Kong, if you measure it against Final Wars, it's a much more controlled film.
Oh yeah.
It's a much more focused film. It knows exactly what it wants to do. it does do weird shit like Godzilla blowing a hole in the middle of the
Yeah,
earth.
but it's been precedented, like he said. Like that shouldn't be that crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like it's a wacky ass movie. See, the thing is, like, when you're a Godzilla fan, you've been through the Heisei era, and then you watch 98 kind of be a disappointment. And then the Millennium, nothing seems to catch, right? Everything kind of like is a small victory at best, or, you know, like the movies didn't do well at all.
Right.
So when Final Wars, you hear they're going to give this like freaking director who's doing these like up and coming directors doing these like, you know, crazy movies with like martial arts in them, is going to direct a Godzilla movie, and they're going to give him $20 million, and he wants to put the most monsters in it of all time. You think you're going to get something that's just badass. And there is potential when I watch some of those scenes, especially like all of the mutant scenes, you can see what this guy can do. Like, he can do an action movie.
Yeah, no,
problem.
the hand-to-hand combat choreography, I was like, oh, they actually put some fucking fun things for the humans to do. Like, that wasn't bad.
So that even makes it even more bad, because you're like, oh, he's completely in the zone when he's doing these other scenes, but when he's doing the Godzilla stuff and like, especially all the other stuff with like Don Fry in there and this and that,
Yeah,
like, he's just letting stuff slide.
I mean, there's a bad film. Like, you look at the space sets, and the movie it reminded me of was Jason X, where he's in space.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of really bad TV sets.
Yeah.
There's sort of a kind of a cheapness to the whole thing, and it doesn't have the 60s, 70s charm of going, well, look at the budget they had. Look at what they were doing.
Right.
Like, this is the most expensive Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
And it's from an era that kind of sucks. No one really looks back on the Millennium era or the movies in that era anyways, big budget films. Like, those movies all have laughable CGI. So it's not a very fond era to look back at movies either. So I think it's just one of those, and it was the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a disappointing film for a lot of people. But with time and perspective, looking back on it now 20 years later, I can laugh about that film.
Yeah.
It's not the worst film. It's, as Ruggs put it earlier, it's not Madam Web.
Yeah.
I can watch that movie and remember 35 things from that movie that I thought were funny or goofy or memorable.
That's true. I mean, look, another thing is that helps is that we're in this new era of Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we've all been waiting our whole lives for like a great Godzilla movie. Now -1 has come. We've been waiting for Godzilla to be able to throw down in a serious manner and like see some cool monster action. And we saw that in Godzilla versus Kong. We've gotten like some good Godzilla stuff. So we feel like, all right, we've seen the Gareth Edwards serious version. We've seen the batshit crazy Wingard version. We've seen the fanboy version with King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
We've seen them all. And so we have -1 that kind of like toes the line for the first movie. So when you go back and you watch Final Wars, you can just have fun with it.
Yeah, I would equate it to the way I felt, the way Godzilla -1, and then also to a lesser extent Godzilla versus Kong, more so because of the amount of money it made, where it went, you went, oh wow, the mainstream took a hold of this.
Yeah.
And then -1. But I would equate it to when the Cubs won the World Series for me in 2016, where once they won the World Series, I literally could look back on their history. I could look back on anything after and went, cool, whatever. They gave me what I wanted. At this point, we're playing with house money.
Yeah.
So I can look, it makes me think back on the history, like with the Cubs, and go, cool, it was part of the destination. I can enjoy the ride, look back on it fondly.
Yeah.
Same thing with Godzilla. I can look back at Final Wars and go, cool. That was a footnote in the history, and it was a wacky time.
Like, even with 98, like 98 was a colossal failure, like for a Godzilla fan. Like, you left the movie theater going, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, that was all of our hopes and dreams, that American Godzilla could like do what the Japanese couldn't with the budget and everything, and like all the Hollywood method of doing things. And it was a complete failure. And so, like, like Final Wars being the last film that they were going to make, so much importance was put on it.
50-year anniversary too.
Yeah, it was 50-year anniversary. So like, it did not live up to it. It did not live up to what it was supposed to be. So everybody hated it. But now that we have other things, we're playing with house money, like Anthony said. You can go back and have fun with this movie if you want to.
And at least it's not boring.
No, it's not boring at all.
It's not a chore to watch that movie.
Yeah. But it kind of did it kill the franchise for them because, like I said, they didn't make a thing until 2016. They're like,
I mean, the movie lost money.
Well, they planned that, like, from what I hear, it was strategic because in the Millennium era, they were putting out movie after movie and nothing was catching. Yeah. So they're like, we're saturating the market. No one cares about this right now. Let people miss it for a while. Mm-hmm. And, 98 didn't work out either. So just let people miss it for a while.
They waited, 10 years? That's when 14?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we didn't get a Japanese one till 16?
Yeah.
And you want to know something? 14 was good, but it didn't catch fire like Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, that movie was the one that really, I think, got the most new people on board.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And now that -1 is out here, all the fucking people who smell their own farts and like it, these nose bowlers, they also are involved. So,
but it's funny if you look at, especially for Imran watching these.
Yeah,
you look at -1.
Yeah.
And you look at Final Wars and just look at the range of Godzilla movies that you can potentially get.
I mean, that to me is amazing. And even Destroyer, that was a completely different movie.
Is there a
too.
wider range of movies in another franchise?
There really isn't. You can do anything and it mostly works, but that is wild. It's a completely different tone. Another favorite part in this movie, after they get Captain Gordon, when they're like, I know someone we can trust. And he comes back and he sees the two girls there and he's like, nice work. The guy. It's great.
Oh, yeah. He sees his two babes there with
two babes. He's drooling.
They're all in latex or rubber suits or whatever.
He says great things like, don't miss the train as they're running.
Girls are good looking.
They really are. That wasn't the
one in red?
Yeah, the one in red and the scientist lady.
So when the guy gets assigned to the scientist and then she's standing by and he goes, you're not a scientist. You look like a supermodel.
Yeah.
And she's wearing 4-inch heels. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Oh man, I just wonder where
if you want to smoke a joint and laugh.
Oh my god, I want those shades. I'd wear those black shades. They're so super cool. I would absolutely wear those out.
Those are from Monster Zero.
No problem. Yes, they made them a little more streamlined in this one. I noticed, but I was like, those are cool. I'll wear them. Okay, well, look, let's wrap it up. Rate this movie for me and rank it amongst, I don't know, your favorite out of the Millennium era or altogether.
Whoa, man.
If you want, whatever you want to do.
Loaded question.
Anthony.
When I first saw it, I probably ranked it like a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, somewhere around there. Upon rewatch, I will adjust my ranking. I will go with a solid 6.
Okay.
I fully acknowledge this is a bad movie.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of fun to be had if you go in with the mindset of, I know this is bad, but it's goofy as fuck, and I just want to embrace the wackiness that is this movie.
Absolutely.
So 6 out of 10. As far as Millennium films.
Yeah, what's the best one out of those for you?
Oh, man.
We have, so just so everyone knows, we have Godzilla 2000 Millennium, Godzilla versus Megaguirus, GMK, All Out Attack, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and then Tokyo SOS, and then Final War.
I'd have to rewatch these. Objectively, GMK is a way better movie.
That's maybe I got to watch that next.
I do like Tokyo SOS. I kind of like Godzilla versus. The only movie I don't really like is Godzilla versus Megaguirus. I would say this is probably in the middle.
Okay,
but I'd have to rewatch some of those films.
Okay.
This one's probably the worst made. Maybe Megaguirus. Megaguirus is pretty bad too. So if you're saying in terms of just art, it's probably the worst one, but there's just a cheeseball factor to this that makes it more memorable. And then as far as all-time Godzilla movies, I mean, it definitely wouldn't be one of my favorites. But
Right. Okay.
I have to admit, it rose up the ranks a little bit rewatching it again, going in with the mindset of house money and just embrace that this is a weird director's love letter to show era in his own diabolical neo mute X-Men way.
Yeah, it's 50th anniversary. I'm gonna put every fucking monster in this movie. Let's have some fun.
And
Why
a
not?
lot of martial arts.
And mutants and aliens and Matrix. Ruggs, what about you? What would you give it? Where does this go?
I feel like in the pantheon of Millennium films, I feel like a lot of them are just by the book. Like Godzilla 2000 is by the book. It's a by the book Godzilla movie. Megaguirus, by the book. I would even say Tokyo SOS and the Kiryu movie are by the book. The only two that stand out are GMK in this one.
Yeah.
But I like the Tokyo SOS is the highest quality of all the movies.
Okay.
It's the best movie out of all of them.
Oh, okay.
I think it's about GMK is more entertaining, I guess.
Okay.
And has a little bit more fun. But I think the most highest quality film is Tokyo SOS.
Okay.
But it's a little bit more boring, though. It's not as action-packed.
Oh.
But this is the most action-packed out of all.
Absolutely.
This one's got all the action. It's got martial arts. It's got sexy legs. It's got fucking bad acting. It's got fucking spaceships.
Got pimps.
It's got pimps
Come on.
and aliens. It's got some questionable direction and really bad music. One of the worst rendered versions of 98 Godzilla I've ever seen. But it's memorable, and I do like the suit. I do like it better than Godzilla 2000 suit. I think it's a pretty good suit. And I like it about just as much as the GMK suit.
Okay.
So I think it's about a 6. Just like Anthony said, he's right on the money with this one.
All right. So, out of all the movies I've seen so far of the Godzilla, this was the wackiest one, and I didn't know what to expect. But I went in, I embraced the camp. I was having a blast. I'm gonna give it a 7. Yeah, because it was just fucking crazy and wild.
I figured you would like this.
Did not expect it. I think this Destoroyah is a better movie.
Oh,
but a little bit, right? But like -1 is like a 9 or a 10, right? That's fucking perfection. But I'm glad I watched this. It's just crazy that it ended. It was on the 50th year anniversary and kind of ended the franchise for a while.
You know what?
But it was fun.
The next one on your list, it has to be Terror of Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, the
We're gonna
end of
complete
the Showa era,
which will be weird for you to watch
because now we're going back to what 1976, 75.
It's like the 20-year anniversary.
That would be the 15th Godzilla movie, and that Showa era was. Oh, that was the 20-year.
It's a sequel, kind of a sequel to one before.
Oh, about Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting for you to watch that one.
That's
also kind of a not as wacky. You'll see. Last movie directed by Ishiro Honda, who did the original Godzilla.
Oh, that is Ishiro Honda. Yeah. No, I had fun with Final Wars. I'll tell you, it's crazy, but I can see why it's divisive now that you guys are talking about it.
Our boy, what's his name?
Nick Shev does not like this movie.
Hates the movie.
Yeah, so I can see that. That makes sense. Does Bilotti like this movie? I forget what his thoughts were. No. Okay. But I get it. But watching it randomly just like that, I was like, this movie is wild.
I think what happened is that they bought this outsider director when they had Suzuki Kaneko right in the wings, right in the comeback from GMK. And I think they all would have rather had Kaneko involved than Kitamura. And they're probably right, but
right. I mean, the movie looks unlike any other Godzilla movie you'll ever see.
Okay.
And not in the good, like in a lot of ways, really bad.
In a bad way, not in a bad way.
Straight up, Jason. I mean, straight up Leprechaun in space at some point.
Yeah. But
those kind of movies.
That's where.
Oh my god!
It was that era where computers are kind of people. Are
and
still
then a
figuring
spaceship set was just maybe 2 sets.
Yeah, with just it was the.
I think they literally had the control room and the cage that they would spar in.
Yeah. Yes. Well, one with columns and one with the circles.
Right.
But but entertaining. I'll tell you what. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Let's do some news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Just a couple of things here. Jess Rivera posted a link reminding us, informing us, alerting us, The Boys Season 4 has a release date, June 13th.
That's a ways away.
Yes. Coming out this summer, weekly installments dropping. They put out a poster with Homelander and that politician lady, Victoria Newman, who she's the head popper, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Remember, she's got the virus that they made in Gen B. So I'm excited. Excited for the return. Season 4. I believe they've already got greenlit for a season 5, and they're going to start shooting that. So
I'm there. I'm loving what Amazon's doing.
I mean, again, this is the best like superhero shit on TV they have right now. So this isn't going anywhere. Moving on, Daryl K posts this article. I saw this. I thought this was pretty interesting about Denis Villeneuve. He's got Dune 2 coming out next week. That's what we're going to be reviewing. Let me ask you what you think about these comments that he told the Times of London.
But do it in a French accent.
Okay, I don't know how you do it. He said movies have been corrupted by television. He says, frankly, I hate dialogue. Dialogue is for theater and television. I don't remember movies because of a good line. I remember movies because of a strong image. He says, I'm not interested in dialogue at all.
Sounds like Adam Wingard.
Pure image and sound. That is the power of cinema. But it's,
I don't really like dialogue. I think we should do a whole Godzilla movie without any dialogue.
I mean, John Woo just tried it in Silent Night. It wasn't
whatever.
But I think he wants to do a movie where there's no dialogue. But he's blaming television. Movies have been corrupted by television.
This is the most insane shit that I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need a strong image, you need a strong sound, and when it properly written line delivered well by an actor is it combined with that's fucking movies. I mean,
look, even music videos have lyrics,
why wouldn't you use all the parts of the medium?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that seems like a little silly.
It seems a little weird, but
apparently he's made one of the greatest movies ever. Though,
that's the thing with these reviews, and he could say whatever he wants now because he's going to win all the Oscars. I think.
Look, there is a lot of things you can do visually.
Yeah,
you can get a lot of different things. You can tell a lot of story visually, but I think just relying on only that is you're missing out on a whole other toolbox that also works. And I do think people do remember lines from movies.
Oh, absolutely.
We sit here and we do lines from movies all the time.
That's the best part is quoting the memorable lines.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He just sounds like he's smelling his own shit.
It does.
And because
I don't even agree with like the movies have corrupted television. I don't really see that. Like, yes, they've affected it a little bit, but not corrupted.
This is what happens when you're doing press and you just say stupid shit.
But he's made the best movie ever, apparently, so he can say whatever he wants. One last thing, Jose Ibarra letting us know about season 2 of Halo. He says as much as season 1 of Halo was just meh, this season has been fantastic.
It's not bad, yeah.
He says the latest episode is incredible. He's talking about episode 4. This is, of course, streaming on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, the last episode was like a whole not space battle, but like an attack on Earth.
Whoa.
And Master Chief has got no armor on and he's trying to survive and get to where it's almost like Saving Private Ryan. He's trying to get somewhere. Yeah.
All right.
He's got to fight a bunch of fucking aliens hand to hand.
We're just going to slide into what are we watching. And now I have to catch up because I had no interest in this, but now from what I'm hearing, I'm going to catch up. And
look, it's got the same problems as last time, except now I know what the problems are and I'm going in watching, knowing what the problems are. And it's at the end of the day, okay, Halo is a product that has a budget. They have CG aliens. They have action sequences that are, I would say, a cut above most shows.
Yeah, okay.
Like they get out there, they shoot stuff, blah, 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 shit explodes.
Yeah.
It's not like Sci-Fi Channel stuff. It's like a cut above that stuff. So, yeah, might want to check it out if you're into that shit.
All right.
It's not Halo, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's different. It's its own thing from the game, but I'm gonna catch up. Anthony, you watch anything interesting?
Nope.
No. Okay. Rugs. What else? You watched something else?
On Paramount, I've been waiting for this movie because I love fucking Dracula. I don't fuck Dracula, but I love Dracula.
Yeah, you love fucking Dracula. We heard you.
But it is a kind of DL Dracula movie. It's The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Now, if you've read Dracula, the novel.
This is the boat Dracula movie.
Yeah, you know that Dracula leaves Romania after John Harker comes there and arranges for a boat to take him and a bunch of his biatches all the way over to London so he could start up in a whole camp over there and get into like high society and fuck around and be, you know, he was tired of being up alone in his castle in Romania where nothing's going down. He wanted to be like part of society.
Yeah.
So he basically puts himself on this boat, and then when he starts to like need to feed, because this boat ride's taking a while, he starts taking out the members of the ship.
Sure.
Like one by one.
Man's got to eat.
So it becomes like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Now you're in like a horror movie on a boat.
Yeah, Dracula.
Dracula's the fucking bad guy. He doesn't really say much. He's just kind of like something that sneaks up on people and fucks them up.
Oh, I like that.
But I felt like even the movie moved a little slowly, that it was actually done very well. And I liked it.
Oh.
I love it. It wasn't an amazing film, but I thought it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. It gave me, you know, a almost like Alien type experience where, you know, an alien, you're on a ship.
Yeah.
You got to find out what the fuck it is. It's Alien.
So
it's Alien with Dracula.
Is it better Dracula than Renfield, or is it unfair to compare the two? They're kind of different.
I think Renfield is, it's got great things in it about it, but it's overly, the message and all that stuff is way too heavy handed. This is much more of a horror movie. A kid dies in this, spoilers, but like, it's interesting. I mean, it's not like anything that you haven't seen before. It's not revolutionary. It's very much by the numbers, but it's still good.
Right.
It's still like it's like watching aliens on a ship.
Okay. Last Voyage of the Demeter. It's on Paramount.
Yeah, I would say I'd give it like, if I was giving it a score, I'd give it like a 6.5 easily.
Okay. That's a soft recommend, I think.
I think that anything over a 6 is a movie that you can watch. I don't know if you're gonna love it, but it's a watchable film.
I've been watching just some random shit. Jose Barra turned me on to this. There's like a true crime doc on Netflix called Lover, Stalker, Killer. I saw it. He said there's a good twist in it, and I watched it, and there was a pretty good twist. But so if you're into kind of that stuff, that's not bad. I'm not gonna spoil it. And then just like Curb Your Enthusiasm season 2 has been, or season 12
I gotta watch that.
been funny. And that's really about it. I haven't really been watching too many other things, but I do want to mention next week. I'm very excited. Geek Boner. We will be reviewing Dune 2. Listener, get your tickets if you haven't already. Theaters are filling up.
That's true. It's hard to get tickets.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, I had to wait till Saturday now. I couldn't get tickets. So that's crazy. I think this movie's going to be huge. Everybody's talking about it. Right now, Rotten Tomatoes, 154 reviews. It said 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. 8.7 out of 10. And they're saying it should make somewhere between 60 to $80 million opening weekend. There's a crazy stat in this article that says they're expected to collect 60 to 80 million in its domestic debut. It says it would be the first movie to open above 50 million since October's Five Nights at Freddy's. Is that right? That's crazy. Since October, there have not been any big crazy movies.
No, this is gonna make the most money that something's made in about a year. Because you could just tell when you're buying tickets for it, there's no seats in the. Yeah,
there's so much buzz. You got the popcorn bucket. Make sure you buy that on the way in, listener.
Everybody said it was good.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Every
So it better be fucking good.
I'm forcing you to watch this long ass
Well,
movie.
Anthony, I don't know. You're not. You might have to rewatch the Dune if you want to.
Well,
But
from what I've
recently-
heard, this second half of the story is the more action-packed story.
Yes,
So.
and it picks up right where the first one ended up. I would just watch
He's
like
with
a
the
recap
water
video.
people, right?
The desert people. No, that's Avatar.
Yeah, basically.
He's on.
Well, aren't they blue-eyed and they got
blue-eyed,
water in their nose?
They were exiled to the desert planet. No, those are like rebreather.
Yeah, so
rebreather
basically,
things.
Paul Atreides, the Atreides family has to go to Dune or whatever we're gonna call it Dune, Arrakis.
Yeah, Arrakis.
Go to Arrakis to take over for the Harkonnens, but it's a setup,
right?
Because the Emperor doesn't like the Atreides family. They feel like that they're going to usurp him, so and everybody hates the Harkonnens, even though they're very powerful. They're evil, so he puts them there on purpose, so the Harkonnens have no choice but to kill them off. And so they kill off their family, and now Paul Atreides runs into the desert with the desert people, hoping to harness desert power.
Now he's going to have to build an army and ride some worms. And he's also
He's
the
gonna have-
prophet, the Haderach, the Quizach Haderach or something.
Yeah, the Kwisatz Haderach.
Quizach
Yeah.
Haderach. There's a lot of names.
But he also has to work his political shit too,
Yes.
because if he could somehow, like, even though he's in love with Chani,
right,
he still has like political shit he can do, and that might maybe come into play later on. So the Emperor has a daughter that needs to marry off to a high family.
Right. So there's some like Game of Thrones type fucking
Yeah, there's
shit
some Game of Thrones shit going
There's
on.
some Star Wars battle scenes
Yeah,
going
so the
on.
Harkonnens have their dude that's supposed to like maybe marry this chick,
Right.
and so now let's see what happens. So
I mean, if this movie is good as everybody is saying, like I've got to temper my expectations, but I'm expecting some fucking.
I don't think it's gonna be
Dope
as
shit.
good. I just think that I'll be happy if it just continues the story, because the version of Dude that I saw was, I think, on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like an 8.
Okay.
Or like, yeah, it was good, but not great. But remember, one movie can elevate the other. So
I think
we'll see what happens.
Wonka is also helping this movie because it has made $600 million and it's still like making good money every weekend. It's still out there. So he may have Tim Chalamet is going to have 2 big hits on his hands, which is kind of crazy. I want to see Wonka. I heard it's good. The other thing that's coming out, you don't want to go to the theaters. You want to watch something just as good and satisfying. Apparently, the Shogun show on FX drops Tuesday, February 27th. Apparently, this is also very, very good. And I'm looking forward to it.
I will watch it.
Anthony, it's got Anna Sawai in it. I think that's reason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. From
You should check it out.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
I didn't really like her though in the show.
No, but I will still give her another chance to be another character. I think she's bad at. I seen her in the fucking trailer. She's got a sword. She's doing some fighting. I was like, holy shit! She looks.
Have
badass.
you watched the new Avatar? Everybody's talking
No,
about that.
everybody's talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender. I still haven't watched it.
I watched the first episode, and it was a little bit what do you call it? They beat it like a dead horse. A lot of the stuff they over wrote it. But it's pretty good.
Really?
Like production value wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are a couple of scenes where the kid looks clearly CG, but other than that, I think that it's for a Netflix show looks pretty decent.
Fuck, I might have to check that out too. There's a lot of shit out there.
I don't know if it's good though. I just know that it's done. It's got high production.
I've never watched the original cartoon show, so I'm just gonna go.
This one will fill you in, no problem.
Okay.
It does a very
I
good job.
kind of want to go back and watch that show because it's on a lot of lists of like the best TV shows of like the
It is
2000s.
great because they take their time with it and they let it unfold.
Yeah.
And goes through all the characters go through a lot of growth. They talk to a lot of people. There's a lot of world building. It's very, very rich. And I feel like it's just like Lord of the Rings, or it's just like it's a classic piece of IP.
So did this Avatar, is it more like One Piece adaptation or more like Cowboy Bebop end of
No, it's a higher production value than both, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, they poured a shitload of money because they know that Because Avatar is like, you're talking about one of the best American animations that's ever.
Yeah, it's got a huge fandom.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gang, that's it for this week. Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
Rug Boy Show on Twitter, now known as X. Come follow me. Only people that are following right now are like these people with OnlyFans pages that want me to look at their boobs.
Hey, that's not too bad. At least you got some company.
I don't have the money for that.
I know, that's the problem.
Give me a freebie.
That's unfortunate. Anthony, where can the listener find you this week?
You can find me on X as Really Not Rug Boy. Check it out.
Just going to be destroying his reputation. It's a lot of fun.
That's me.
Yes, you can also find all that stuff in our episode description. But the most important thing, listeners, share the show, spread it around to your kaiju friends, spread it to the next monster you see. Give them one of these. Jock and Nerd. And everything will be great. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the Nerd.
We will peep you next time on Arrakis.
Thing I offer you a chance to be a cop, and you blew it.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
My balls was hot.
My balls.
Jock and Nerd.